Welcome to Pretty Practical Podcast with your host, Stephanie B. We're talking kingdom transformation through practical revelation.
Transforming lives everywhere through revelation and power of prayer. Solving problems day by day, and we do it the kingdom way.
Welcome to Pretty Practical Podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie B. On this episode, we're talking kingdom transformation through practical revelation. This year has been one for the books. I've watched my purpose unfold and exceeded my own imagination. To sum it up, I'm in a place of gratefulness, thankful for each and every blessing, roadblock, and counting it all joy. Why? Because it was necessary for my place of acceleration. There are some doors that once open, you don't just walk through, you run. And I've been running through the door that God has opened for me. As I close out season 1, I'm beyond excited for season 2 of Pretty Practical Podcast. It will be full of surprises and kingdom transformation. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey as I'm determined to remain obedient to His process. Obedience is compliance with an order, request, or law, or submission to another's authority. How do you know when it's time to move on? In December of 2021, God spoke to me clearly and said, start getting ready. My response was ready for what? There was nothing that I had in the works, but I knew that it was time to move. No idea where I was going, but my spirit knew I was getting ready to go somewhere. Shortly after the command to move, God began to give me instructions on how and where to begin my preparation. Prayer became the fuel I needed for my destination. The call to start walking in my kingdom purpose became clearer each day. He whispered everything I would need along the way, who I needed to connect with and doors I needed to close permanently. We're eager to run to the promise of yes, but what about the no you weren't ready for? Yes, purpose was knocking, but the idea of the new meant resisting the doors of my own limiting beliefs. It meant saying yes to the unfamiliar promise of better. Each step of obedience allowed me to unlock a new door of opportunity. One thing I'm certain of is that I will never be the same. You may relate to having a life-changing moment so pivotal that going backwards isn't an option. Some experiences aren't meant to be relived. This year, my obedience was about the alignment for my kingdom purpose. Pretty Practical Podcast was birthed and my voice was activated. My heart is to see people transform from the inside out. Listen, I'm no stranger to adversity or life's challenges. What I've learned is that God will use imperfect people to relay His perfect message. The road to purpose can be filled with challenges. We often have to have a face-off with our biggest demons and adversaries. But as a king's kid, you don't face them alone. You defeat that which is trying to defeat you with God's strategy. Yes, there will be rough moments along the way, but it does mean you're guaranteed victory. As we enter into a new year, what is God asking of you? Could it be that the delay you experience is because of your disobedience? We must take inventory of our life, not so we can relish in our deficits, but in order to improve. You must be honest with your current state. We weren't designed to remain stagnant. We're created to evolve. Your decision to evolve doesn't need permission from the crowd. It's not contingent on what others may believe you do or do not deserve. It starts with the decision to say yes to God and your willingness to be obedient to His blueprint. This won't make sense to some who can only see with a natural perspective, because as they try to size you up, they're already 20 steps behind. Why? Because when God's given the green light, you become unstoppable. May I encourage you today? You were designed for victory. As your life story continues to evolve, don't get discouraged because God has something so special waiting for you on the other side of your obedience. You've tried it your way long enough. My prayer for you today is that you will be obedient to the plan of God in your life. There is greatness inside of you. Be unstoppable. But you can't get there if you quit. I'm rooting for you.
Thank you for tuning in to Pretty Practical Podcast with your host, Stephanie B. Be sure to catch us again and be transformed through practical revelation, the kingdom way.
Transforming lives, everywhere, through revelation and power of prayer, solving problems day by day, and we do it the kingdom way.